Welcome back to the Young Fan Podcast. It's not going to be a long episode of the podcast because, brutally and honestly, as strange it sounds, I don't really think the players today, especially in that second half performance, and a lot of the players at the end, don't really deserve the time of the fans really to speak about them for longer than about 10 minutes. I'm not going. No, there's no guarantees. It might be a bit longer than 10 minutes, but I don't really want to ramble on. I don't really want to just keep repeating myself because I'm frustrated. And I'd say I'm more than frustrated. I'm saying I'm angry as well. But anyway, welcome back to the Young Fan Podcast. Moods are normally a little bit higher, but I say that and they're not really in this season because this season has gone from bad to worse. We've lost the game 2-1 against Swindon Town. Very, very local rivals, and a big derby. We were 7 in a row before this game, and that's come to an end. We've lost the derby, we've lost the game, and I think more importantly, we've blown what would have been a big 3 points, and then you feel like you've been nicked of 2 points down to 1 point, and then some horrific goalkeeping, some poor defending, some poor management. And I'd actually, get rid of the word poor. I'd say horrific management, horrific composure, and a horrific mentality from some of the players. We've actually come away with no points, and we now, with a game in hand, this was one of our games in hand, now are below Swindon. But not only that, are far, far away, even further away from where we wanted to be going into this season. And it's more than a derby. It is more than a derby. It was a big thing for this club in terms of what was going to happen for the season. We felt like there was an improvement. We built on Wigan. We got our own a draw against Portsmouth. We felt like we'd taken something from one game into another, and then we get absolutely embarrassed as fans in this game as well. I'm sure I'm probably going to have some Swindon fans that are going to find this really funny, and to be honest with you, fair enough to you. I actually would say fair enough, and I congratulate you, because to be honest with you, we deserved bantering, we deserve to be taken the mick out of, and we generally deserved today to be in the position we're in. Because if you're going to play like that for just the second half and for 45 minutes when you're holding a lead at home, you deserved to be embarrassed if you lose a game. And that isn't with some absolutely horrific goalkeeping mistakes. I said I was not going to throw into too many big, throw into saying some big and rash comments, but Simon Eastwood's got to take a big look at himself, and I think this has got to be the time now where Carl Robinson makes a decision. And I was holding back, and I said it before, and I was holding back and said, look what he's done for this club. He's been a good goalkeeper, he's been a great servant to the club, 600 odd games he's played for us now, whatever it is. Probably wasn't even that, I think I'm making that up, I'm not even sure, but whatever, how many games and there's no denying that he's been a really great servant for the football club. But this season he's been horrific, and he's cost us so many games. Shambolic. I said, and I put out on the Instagram at the Young Fan Podcast, give me your thoughts, and I've got some in front of you right now. Eastwood out is one that's coming in right now. I've had some on the Instagram, so Eastwood out was one of them. Someone put one word, horrific. Someone put absolutely shambles. And to be honest with you, I think that's generally sort of the way it is. Now, obviously, this is straight after kickoff, but that was absolutely embarrassing. Eastwood's got to go. And not go in a rash way, but he's got to be dropped, and he's got to really look at what's, we've got to look at the mistakes. He's got to look at the mistakes he's made. I understand he's getting, he's a little bit older, so he probably does know where he's going wrong. But that today, I think he's got to be dropped. He's got to be dropped. Jack Stevens is behind him. He's breathing down his neck. I'm sure it's not ideal for Simon Eastwood to have a good goalkeeper behind you, but that today just shows how much of a poor season he's had, and it summed it up really. He just ran out on the ball, missed the ball, it's gone through his legs. That is under. I get annoyed when things happen our Sunday League goalkeeper, and I get frustrated when things happen in Sunday League where any player does something annoying, and that's me included. If anyone does something that's so frustrated, that makes a mistake, that person will always, at any level, will look back and think, I cost us that game. And I really hope Simon East was thinking that, because he did cost us that game today. He cost us that game. He was horrific, absolutely awful. I don't care if he made a few good saves in the game. He made one, I can remember. But I don't care. You're a goalkeeper. You're a goalkeeper. You made one save. Good. It didn't go in. But if you're going to go and do that in the second half, then what's the point? You know, what really is the point? You know, the point of a goalkeeper, and it's a clean sheet again. Clean sheet's gone. It went anyway when they equalised, and for them to win the game is just an absolutely horrific performance. And I go into this game with confidence. I went into this game with a lot of confidence. I went into this game thinking, you know, if we showed like we did for areas in Portsmouth, if we put in, if we show signs of what we did against Wigan, we'll go on and win this game. And I'm going to be quite hypocritical in what I said a little bit, but Swindon aren't a great side. And, you know, I have no, you know, and I would have said that if we'd won the game 1-0. And it does sound a bit, you know, but they're not a great side. And they're not. They're just not. And I'm going to respect, I respect every club and I respect everyone in this division. And, you know, Swindon or whatever, I've never, it's Swindon at the end of the day. But anyone, you know, if that was any team, I'm still going to be just as frustrated. The fact is, Swindon is, to be honest with you, 20% the reason why I'm annoyed. The other 80% is because the other 80% is the fact that any team that could come here would have outclassed us and were better than us. And it's embarrassing. I'm embarrassed to be an Oxford United football fan, and that's a position I never want to be in. And, you know, last season, who did you support? Oxford. Oh, that team that got to the playoffs and had a really good season and looked really, really good. Where are you in the league? We're third or fourth. That's quality. You know, we go into games, we're confident. We're on the front foot. We attack. We go 1-0 up. We're trying to protect a 1-0 lead at home. Is embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing. And the substitutes as well. I think we should have made a substitute. I think we should have made a few changes. But when those changes came on, it ruined the game, to be quite frank. And I know we sort of had to make the changes, but all Adji did when he came on was foul his man. Shadipa did the same, he got booked. At the end of the day, they came on and didn't impact the game. They came on and made no difference to the game, which is very, very different to what happened at Portsmouth. The 3 substitutes that came on and the 3 substitutes that Carr made that came on, when they came on against Portsmouth, I think were a big reason why we got the point. And they were a big reason why we got the point. But today, those 3 changes absolutely ruined everything. But then I say that, and before they came on, we were poor. They came on, and we were even worse. And at that point, I didn't think we could get even worse. We lacked composure. We were poor. We looked scared. Our defence was crumbling in front of our eyes. And it was only really going to be a case of, we're going to be lucky. We are going to be lucky if we can come out of this game, really. When we were that shaky, we'd be lucky to come out of that game with anything, with the way that we played in that second half, and that's being brutal, and that's being completely, you know, brutally honest. Player ratings today, how can you, you know, to be honest with you, I would be rating the players really on their first half performance, because the second half performance was abysmal. No player got better than a 5 in the second half performance, and I mean that. Kelly was fantastic in the first half, can't remember him touching the ball in the second half. And that's a problem. When your best player in the... I think, to be fair, I think Gorin... I love Gorin. And I think I will continue to... I think continuously, I think Gorin was also probably the best player in the second half as well. He wasn't the best player in the first half. I thought Kelly was very good in the first half. But I thought Gorin in the second half probably was the best player. But he was the best out of a very, very bad bunch. So, you know, it's like being... I don't know. It's literally like being... You know, I don't know, I'm trying to think of an analogy, but, you know, I'm so frustrated that I can't even think of one of them. But it's one of those things where, you know, you were great, you weren't great, you were good, but everyone around you was bad, so you're naturally going to be the best player anyway. Basically, if you could pass the ball 5 yards, you were going to be better than any player in that second half, because some of those players I generally thought at one point probably, you know, forgot what was going on. It was like the game had finished. We played the second half like a training session. We played the first half like a derby. We played the second game like a training session. The first half was good. When Taylor missed the opportunity in the first half, he practically missed an open goal. How he kept on staying on the pitch, I don't know. Well, I will tell you that is because we've got a Winnall sick note that. You know, I know he can't outmake, and I don't mean that in a disrespectful way towards him, but realistically, we're signing players that can't keep fit. We're signing players that aren't going to be out, and they're probably going to be out for months on end. So realistically, it's great that we're buying players, and I'm sure he's a great player, but if you can't stay fit for more than one game, or even in that case 20 minutes in the other day, and we've got no competition. I know Taylor got his goal, but Taylor probably should have come off for Winnall if Winnall was available. Hall kept on. We didn't make all 5 changes. Embarrassment. And that's what I mean as well. It's just naivety from a lot of players. Obita, I do not sit. And I've always tried to play this thing of like eventually I will sort of want to get involved with the actual club of Oxford and want to sort of like, you know, I do want to speak to some players, and if I can get an interview with anyone at Oxford United later down the line, I want to do that. But obviously I'm doing an opinionated game after a game, so I have to be careful what I say, because if they watch this back, there's no chance of me ever getting an interview and ever be talking to someone representative of the football club. But I'm a fan, so I'm not going to hold back. Obita, and someone can example it, and I'm willing to prove it. I'm willing for him to prove me wrong. I understand he's only played 2 games, whatever it is. But if someone can explain to me what we see in Obita, please let me know. Because if I'm being completely honest with you, I have no idea what we see in Obita. Right? He looks slow. Whether or not, again, he didn't have a pre-season. He was released. But remember that he was released. If he was that good, surely Reading would have kept hold of him. I don't remember a football player, every single football player that we've released. And, he didn't refuse to sign a contract. He was released from Reading. They chose not to give him another contract. And we thought, well, that'd be a good little sign. Add to our collection of either, players that are just going to sort of come here as sort of a care home to finish off their season. I really want him to sort of I really want him to prove himself. But you're putting in performances like that, I don't think he did one thing okay. I generally don't remember one thing where I thought he even won a few corners, but that's the least we want from you being a winger. I'm not gonna come on here and say, well done, mate, you won 2 corners, have an 8 out of 10 rating. It doesn't work like that. If you're a winger, I want you to make things happen. I want you to run at defenders, run at fullbacks, get the ball in the box, dribble inside, have a go. Not you want a corner. We want you to do more than that. We want you to look like you can influence the game in a positive way, and today that was not given by Obita. I don't really think a lot of the players, I'm not singling just out Obita, I think there are a few players. Shadipo, when he came on, was very, very similar to that. He did nothing apart from just foul people, which is so frustrating. So frustrating. It was actually more frustrating to lose the game, more frustrating to see those fouls given away than us lose the game. Losing the game was an absolute embarrassment, but the fouls were given away at 1-0. Just letting them have a free ball in the box. You might as well just literally... Why are you giving just allowing this player to give a free ball into the box? If you want to do that, just, stand up in the middle of the game, pick the ball up and give him a free kick. You don't need to push him over. Just, we're clearly not very, very good at being able to defend a set piece, and we clearly look like an absolute shambles when the ball comes into the box. So what happens? Why are we fouling them at 1-0, at 1-0, at 2-1? We're still bloody fouling the players. What are we fouling the players when we're losing in injury time? We're still just kicking them over, allowing them to have a free ball in the box. It's embarrassing. It's naive, and I think some of those players have got to go home today, really having a look at themselves and thinking. The first half was decent, but that second half was abysmal. You cannot, and I'll repeat this again, you cannot go into a game at home against Swindon Town when you're Oxford United in a local derby and defend the 1-goal lead at home. That is embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing. If you think you can hold out a league, and whether that's Carl Robinson's decision, whether that's the players' decision, I hope it's Carl more than the players, because if the players are doing something that Carl clearly hasn't said, then I think we're on a whole lot of bother, and I think we're in a lot of bother. But if that's happening, I think we're in a whole lot more trouble than I think we're in. And I think we're in a big, I'm going to say hole at the moment, that we seem to just look like this. It is literally like something you get at the hospital when you're measuring the heart rate of a player, the heart rate of anybody in a hospital. It's like this, up, down, up, down. In other words, inconsistency is a huge problem. And we go into some games and going away, let's build on that. And then we do. And then we go to Portsmouth and give them a bloody good game and get a penalty and then, get a point out of that game. You go, that feels like a result. You're happy from Tuesday night. You sleep on Tuesday. You're excited for the game on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Friday, you're buzzing. Comes to Saturday, you wake up. It's Derby Day, boys. Throw a party. Let's get really excited. Let's get ready. Let's go and watch the game. And then you watch that absolute pile of embarrassment. Not in the first half. The first half we're okay, and we got to a good start with 15 minutes. I won't forget that. That was a good start. But if anyone wants to make an episode of, anybody dares say that second half performance was acceptable, please come on my podcast and I'll explain to you exactly why. Because I'm 16. I'm never going to come on and say that I know everything about football, and I know, that much about football compared to some people, many people, most people. I'm very, very new in this opinionated way of talking about football. And I'm learning episode by episode of the podcast. I'm learning, practically learning on a job that isn't a job, because I absolutely love doing this. But I do not love coming on here and talking about that. I want to talk about what happened last season. I want to go and talk about, that's a great result, boys. 10, 10, 10. 9 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 9 out of 10. 8 out of 10 for you. You didn't have a great game, but you still got an 8. We're coming on here giving players a 6, and that's an average result. Not 6, boys. We're Oxford United Football Club that got into the playoffs last season, and we're losing to Swindon, who won League 2 last season. We were in a quality position to get in the Championship last season, and we're coming here losing to Swindon Town. But not just Swindon Town, we're losing to some pretty poor teams. Swindon, I don't care how you take this. I don't think you're going to care what I think about this, but I don't think you're a very, very good footballing side. But how can I say that when we've just fallen down to your level and lost this game 2-1? I thought Swindon, and even when I say that, Swindon were better than us in the second half. They piled on the pressure. They saw that we were, crumbling like we were melting on a hot day like a flipping ice lolly. We were so bad, and it was freezing at the Cassams. I'm not sure how the heat got that mild and melted our defenders. And it's like the attackers know they have to score at least 3 goals if they're going to win a game. And again today that proves it as well. We have to score at least 3 goals if we're going to win a game. Because we've got a defence so fragile and shaky, especially when we're holding on a win. And we've got a goalkeeper that looks like he's on the floor of confidence. And at the moment, he's got, we know what Eastwood can do, but he's on the floor of ability as it stands. And I repeat, as it stands, I'm not disrespecting him for the whole, he's been a good servant to this football club. But when you've got people, Jack Stevens is surely going to be sat on that bench thinking, how am I playing Papa John's Trophy football when I've got an absolute clown in net at the moment with an absolutely, literally gifting teams goals? I don't know. That's why I'm going to wrap up this episode of the podcast. I was going to do an extended episode of the podcast, but I think that's all they deserve. They don't deserve to me talk longer than this. It's been a 16-minute episode of the podcast. I thank you for watching, and I'll see you later. I promise there'll be positive episodes, but to be honest with you, that's not me to do. That's for the players to decide and turn up for games. But if we're going to lose like that, it's an absolute embarrassment, and I'm absolutely embarrassed to be an Oxford United supporter as it stands. But thank you very much for supporting this episode of the podcast. Subscribe if you're new. Like this episode if you want to enjoy it, and I'll see you later.